Welcome to Spirit Club, a podcast and community where we talk about what's really running the show, your inner world. I'm Angel, your host, your guide, and your spiritual bestie. Around here, we're all about doing the inner work because your outer reality is only ever a reflection of your inner one. We practice radical ownership, freedom in faith, surrendering our path to God, and trusting our intuition like our lives depend on it, because honestly, they do. So take a breath, open your heart, and let's dive in. Hi, Spirit Club. Welcome, and welcome to a different looking episode if you're watching on YouTube. Today we're doing a live in-person episode, and we're gonna change things up. Today we have Kelsey Caruso with us, friend and client, and if you watched our episode back, episode 37, where we announced that we were moving to Greece, Kelsey was the one that interviewed us. And so she is now here traveling in Greece, staying in Naxos, and we thought what a perfect full circle moment to touch base about Greece. So we're going to hand the symbolic mic over to Kelsey now, and we will just jump in.
Okay, hi. Thanks for having me. I promise I didn't follow you guys here.
Although it's okay if you did. It's okay if you did.
The last one, you weren't even in person, but in Greece, you were
I'm here. I did not expect to be here, actually. I actually sat and listened to our podcast at the Temple of Apollo this morning. I hadn't listened to it because I was quite nervous to see how it went. So it was really interesting to me to hear us speak about Greece. It was a week before you guys were moving, and
crazy.
I had no travel on the horizon, and a lot of the themes have now weaved into the everyday life of what I'm now trying to practice. But it was interesting hearing you speak to the island and the family that you know, that you've gotten close to here, and actually putting names to faces and actually physically being able to experience it, which I had never expected when I did the first interview. But it's been really awesome watching you guys settle in here.
Thank you.
And
I'm just going to interrupt quickly and say, I just realized even more full circle of this moment is you happen to interview us for this big chapter in our lives. Mm-hmm. And then Kelsey, she was thinking about how she wanted to do a trip, and she was starting to get symbols of the evil eye everywhere. And she had never considered coming to Greece. Greece wasn't on her bucket list, but like constant evil eye. And so she followed the call, and here she is.
yes, and actually I was in your mentorship program at the time when we were speaking about what I was feeling coming up, and I was like, I really want to travel. And I was meditating at the beach, and I sent you a photo, and I was like, look what I found in the grass. And it was this little bracelet, and it was the evil eye bracelet. And it's something that my Italian grandmother would speak to, but I was like, I don't really know much about it, so I looked it up. And it's obviously very symbolic in the Mediterranean and quite a few cultures. And when I had messaged Angel, she had responded. And what did you say?
It was so crazy. It was earlier that day, I had been shopping, and this like lovely Greek shopkeeper, we connected so well, she hands me almost an identical bracelet to the one Kelsey found on the beach, and I got that day. So yeah, one of those synchronicities that happen to Kelsey a lot, but every time they do, it blows my mind.
And I didn't realize until I came to Greece. I kept seeing this evil eye. Obviously, once you pay attention, it shows up everywhere. But when I finally decided to come to Greece and I first landed in Athens, I didn't realize that the evil eye is the symbol of Greece. It's in every gift shop. And so I didn't see it at the time, but I was like, oh, this is like kind of hinting to Greece. And Angel's like, oh, wait and see. Like it's literally everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Every gift shop.
I wish I had one to show everyone, but no, we just have this like very Alberta background.
Yeah. But yeah, that is how I stumbled into Greece. And that podcast has just been very interesting to hear, even like the shift in your guys' voices and just the pace of, I mean, we talked about it in the podcast a bit about how, you know, the pace of Greece and what you guys fell in love with, but now to experience it and also notice the shift in you guys. Obviously, when we spoke, you were literally about selling all your belongings and moving, so that was a very frantic time. But if you guys want to speak a bit more about that first little bit as you transitioned here,
like specifically the pace.
Well, just like the process, because at the time you were just excited and you had that experience of like the family and you had like an anchor and you have your vision of being here. But I can only assume, as I experienced when I first came here, I was really struggling with the shift in pace and lifestyle. But to actually have that be your new life, like how was selling everything, moving over here, and then landing here?
It was like nervous to sell everything, but then kind of relieving. And exciting, and then the first week here was just crazy. Like, what did we do? We got to Athens and rented a vehicle that was way too big to be driving around in Europe, because back home I'll just do this myself. I don't need to pay a delivery driver to pick up all our belongings, and I'll just haul this all myself. It's only 20 bins or whatever. We'll pick it up, we'll do it all. But I wasn't expecting the language barrier to be such a big piece, and that's still a big piece for me, but it's very hard to just get my message across or anything like that. So when we landed in Athens, it was very eye-opening to what we just did. So, and Athens is not island life. We're not. Athens is a city of 3 or 4 million people in a very small area, and we're driving a 25-foot cargo van, trying to talk to customs about that. We're not importing for a business. We're importing a box of rocks because Angel wanted to bring crystals and rocks to the island.
I am who I am. Okay.
And they think we have 2 TVs that we're going to be selling or something, so they're trying to charge us duties and all this stuff. We don't know how to tell them, so we call up a friend. And Effie, the daughter of our business partner and our new family out here, I'd say negotiated what we're doing, and so we ended up getting through customs, paying a little bit of money, not a full business fee. And then driving a 23 foot cargo van through Athens just took the level from okay, dealing with customs in a different language, now driving this thing through these small towns and chaotic Greek drivers and streets that don't fit the vehicle, so you take a wrong turn and you're just see you later, everybody's near. And
it was stressful those first few days, to say the least. Yeah.
Anyways, so the first week was just that. After one thing like that, Angel getting bit by a dog on the ferry, and so on, and so that was our first week. What the hell did we just do?
Yeah. I mean, the first week was intense and it was aggressive, but then, and I feel like you also experienced this, we roll onto the island and we're like, oh yeah, right. This is why we did what we did. This is why we did what we did. And thank God and bless this island. But I want to add to that first little bit. There was, the lots going wrong, lots of high stress at the very beginning. And then there was probably the first month of the chaos of not knowing how to do anything. It's like you're a baby again. You don't know how to do anything. You don't know where to buy simple things. Vinegar, peroxide. You don't know how to put air in your tires. You don't know how to, all these things that as someone who's almost 40 years old knows how to do in her own country. So that was challenging for that first month. And then also just not having any routine, not having any rhythm. We got a lot of earth energy in us. So it makes us feel good when we have that. So our first month of sort of floating and being in the pace of Greeks, which we thought we knew what slower living was, we did not know. And I feel like you're probably experiencing that too.
No,
Yeah.
But I wonder, because I listened back to that episode and it was funny when you're talking, and of course the excitement, and then you sink into like this new rhythm, and it was, I think for me too, it's like I all of a sudden was like, oh, how do I want my day to look like? It could be whatever I want it to be. And it was hard. And now near the end of my trip, I've kind of gotten into that rhythm. But I think you always said, you're like, now that you're out of your environment, you can envision it to be whatever. And I've watched you guys, move the last couple of weeks, and you definitely have grounded and moved slow, which is great. And that's the whole point. And I think it helps, going to dinners, like you said, with Yanis and his family, which you mentioned in the episode, where their dinners are long and joyous. And even like interacting and bumping into them on the streets. A theme I noticed is like the story behind everything. There's always a big story for even talking about your day and people you meet. And like, it could be such a simple interaction as, I guess, like coming from Vancouver and these big cities where it's just people are quick. And it's like so joyous to just be like talking about an experience, and it could last like a half hour, but there's this element of story and connection and bringing you in. And so that's why it feels slow, I think, is because everyone's interacting at this level of actually taking the time to connect.
Yes. Great observation.
Great observation.
Well, it's true.
And honestly, like, almost like relishing in more of the simple things. So it's like you draw them out, you make a story out of something that could be, really simple and efficient in our old life. Now we make a bigger story out of it, and therefore we connect more. You nailed it. That is very true.
And I wonder, because we talked about this as well in the past, and just like a theme in the podcast is disconnecting your worth to your busyness. I know Shayne mentioned before you worked really hard before coming here, Angel as well, and to all of a sudden have that routine, which was work. How is that? Especially too when the Greeks as well, like they don't ask about work or talk about work, even though they work very hard. They work like 13-hour days, 6 days a week. It's not their purpose. And when they interact with people, it's not about that. So how did that feel all of a sudden when you're like, first of all, I don't work. No one cares what I do. Like, what does that mean?
For me, at first, not working at all, I was feeling into like, how does this feel? What do I like? And I realized that my energy likes some contrast. So to be open and on full-time vacation mode actually doesn't feel very good for my energy. I don't enjoy it as much. So I would start to like drip work in and be like, okay, how much feels good? How much do I want to work in my business? And for me, I started to learn I like to like front load my week with work. I like to have a nice break on Wednesdays, which I'm going to name my worthy Wednesdays, where I don't work at all. And then a little bit more work on Thursday, and that's what feels good to me. And it was kind of freeing to be like, oh, I like to work. Oh, I like to work. I was led by a system that made me work a certain amount, and also a belief system. But now that I'm just building it as what feels aligned and what feels good, it's still going to have some work in it. And that gives me more balance for the times when I'm not working. How about you?
I like not working, but I also like working. So it's hard for me to say, like, the routine I'm in right now is amazing because I have no options to go start working on the project at the moment. We're just starting the projects, but when we first got here, I was ready to keep I'm going to work 10, 12 hours a day and I'm going to blast this project up. Let's go. And then I was already buying tools and stuff on like the third day I was here, trying to figure that stuff out.
Were you actually?
True story.
I was picking up stuff, kids, and I was getting a plan going, and then it was just like, actually, we need the permit from archaeology. Actually, you need permits to work from the government, so you can't do anything anyways. And then it just like was like, holy. And then we got into a good fitness and health routine, and it gave us time to like find our grocery stores, find our local produce, find our cheese shop, find our where we buy milk, and all to like learn how to settle in here, which is great. But I'm itching to like build and do something with my hands, and do something like that. So and that's now it's time. It's like we're about to start the project, so I'm gonna start working. But I don't want to lose my fitness, so I'm struggling with like how to maintenance
balance,
it. Because like once you start doing construction, especially construction and heavy lifting, and what I'll be doing at the building will be a lot of like hauling materials up through the village.
Yeah.
Like it
like
won't be like
winding.
driving my truck to the door. That will be a fitness for me, but you just don't seem to want to go to the gym after a day like that. So anyways.
Yeah, like I think something that Shane pointed out when we were in it, when we found out that we couldn't work on the project, we were like, uncomfortable for a day, right? And then, we got into the Greek way and we're like, what? Sigaska, it'll happen when it'll happen. And the point that he brought up was if we didn't have that time, we wouldn't have built the lifestyle that we have now built. And that's what we came here for. We love lifestyle. Lifestyle is it for us. Yeah. And so without that like forced pause, as you say, we probably would have skipped that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you guys got here, it was in May, right?
Yeah.
So is that due to the tourist season kicking off, or just with the permits in general, that now that it's heading into winter, there's a bit more of an opportunity to start up?
Both.
Yeah, a little of both.
Yeah, I mean, originally they said we could work through tourist season, and then we got here and they said no. We were like, oh,
that would be hard.
That's why we came at this time.
Yeah.
But cool.
But yeah, and it's funny because listening back to that episode, it was like, Shane was like, everything's doable because you have like, you can just tackle a list and you can just do it, and I can see the end goal. And then, Angel was talking about like surrender and not really being attached to the outcome, and it's like the perfect example where you guys were like, okay, like we can't start, and you just kind of had to deal with it. But and I think that's a good reminder, because so much of what we do, or what I even do, is like hung up on if it will work out or if it looks a certain way. And you guys have said many times that you're like, we'll just let it evolve and we'll just surrender to it. And it's been really refreshing to be in that energy, because it's a lot of fear and control, even to the point of like, couldn't figure out which islands I wanted to go to, and then I forced myself to stay here. Not forced, but I was like, no, I'm gonna just stay in one spot and experience it, because I was trying to control this, like, where should I go? What should I do? Oh, if it looks good here, and what if the weather's better there? And I just had to surrender to it, and then it kind of unfolded in the best way possible. But definitely feel like it's a learned behavior, which you guys were kind of forced to do the hard way.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah. And I would say, like, based on having adopted surrender a lot in life, we did it pretty quick. We had a tough day, and then we were like, it's going to be.
We didn't have a choice, and so we just had to, not let it get us down when we're on a beautiful Greek island, and we're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True that. Yeah.
But Angel, you said to me the other day, you mentioned something. You said, even though, you might have to remind me, but you said, even though I don't work, I feel the same as if I do, like abundance-wise.
Yeah. So I was kind of, full disclosure, like, I was a little worried about removing a high-paying job from my life that I had had for many years, and I'd gotten used to a certain way of spending, a certain level of abundance. And I quit that job, and my business is the only income that I have right now. We obviously saved in order to do this big life change and life project, but I've been waiting and ready for the fear of scarcity to come in, the fear of my old lack mindsets around money to creep in and test me. And I mean, we're 6 months in, but I don't know. scaling back to those old fears. So it feels like, the changes that I've made have worked on such a deep level that even when I remove the external thing that's giving me abundance, it's not removing my internal feeling of abundance. And I'm not delulu. Like, we're very conscious of our finances, and we're doing things for them. But it's like, it's all working out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it is working out. It always does. But, and like we talk about abundance is just money, but we have this pomegranate tree that's given us like 100 pomegranates and a garden and fig tree, and we've been like seeing how lush the growing seasons. We just put our second garden in, and it's just like cool to be like, holy look how much food we're getting just off our little property here. It's crazy.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, abundance. I mean, we sometimes look at the land and we're like, the land here is so giving. Like, it's so abundant to the point where, like, we grew tomatoes, and it was time for us to turn the garden over for the next round of seeding. And so Shayne pulled the tomato plants, and they were sitting in a pile to, like, take to the dump. I don't know where you take them. We don't know that
I haven't figured
yet.
that out yet.
But they're sitting there, and they've been sitting there for a couple of weeks, and I walk by and I see red cherry tomatoes that have ripened on the pile of garbage
The mulch.
plants. So I picked them all, we eat them as part of our lunch, and I was like, oh my gosh, this land just keeps giving, even when it's like dead, even when we've thrown it out.
Well, yeah, it reminds me of the story the neighbor told me. He said, I was eating a sandwich and I had a tomato on there, and I threw the tomato there, and when I came back next year, I had this whole tomato plant.
Oh.
So it's like the land does give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think being able to connect with the land, and just that's what it's all about. And I said that I was lucky enough to go to a dinner at the farm, at the family's friend's farm. And you guys had gone 40 days earlier to process wine, is that correct?
Process the grapes for wine, yeah.
And then 40 days after that, so the time we went together, was when they were making like grappa almost, like
Yeah.
Raki.
Raki.
Oh, we should have Raki right now.
It's strong, but it was really cool to see, like, they don't waste anything. And from my background and my Italian heritage, it's just, I'm very disconnected from that. And being able to be on the farm, like how it would be in Italy, and they use everything and all these like little mechanisms that they figured out to distill the raki with just open fire. And the gentleman that owns the farm used to be in politics, correct?
Right.
And he left that life, and he was very successful to go back to his farm because he just like had such joy from it. And it's just these moments where, like, I felt where I'm like, oh, it's so easy to have your priorities be not wrong, but we're very I feel like I'm very disconnected in the city from these practices. And when you go to them, you realize you don't need all the clothes or the things we have.
Totally.
And you make do. When you're also like kind of removed, like you said, you're like, oh, it's not as easy to access like buying things, so you're just like, we don't need it, like, we're fine.
Yes.
It's like the other day, a couple days ago, I went to harvest olives, and I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought I'm down to learn all this stuff, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go process olives. So I get picked up in the morning at 7:30 in the morning, and we drive to a village way inland, and then we get out and we hike down this trail about, I don't know, half hour down like a valley into this little area where he's got these olive trees. And I brought water. Didn't bring lunch, and I didn't know how long we'd be there. I just figured it was going to be like the raki making, where there's food and wine, and we're just harvesting.
Just a party.
No, it was just me and one guy, and we started harvesting olives with nets and hitting the trees and shaking them, hit the trees, pick them. But at first, we went around and we looked for all the sun-ripened olives that had fallen this year, and so they're kind of like this. They're good. So I ate olives for breakfast off the ground, and then we harvested a bunch, and then we were hungry again, and there was a quince tree. I had some quince, and then there was an apple tree. I had some apples, and then there was an orange tree, And then there was a walnut tree, so I was just like eating out of the valley, and I sustained myself all day, like fine, and it was pretty cool. And then we harvested all these olives, and then we went home, and it was about a 10-hour day. So
That's a
it
very.
was,
That's
oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
I know,
Did you see
but now they also have machinery that will shake the trees.
The commercial farms have to,
Yeah.
and that's how a lot of like nut trees
Yeah.
and like harvests happen through
Yeah.
like fruit trees and stuff like that. They have a net that goes, and then they.
Yeah.
That's more commercial, but it's still done pretty traditionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, and it's something that I've really valued, and like you're connecting to the land, and then your food and the taste of everything, and just slowing down to savor it and appreciating, like you said, to harvest the olives. You can't eat them right away. You have to brine them for a while, right?
Yeah.
Well, typically.
Yeah, we've got some brining downstairs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brining your own olives.
We're brining our own olives, and we are brining it in Mediterranean seawater
We harvested the olives from our trees here.
from our trees on the property, and then we went down to the beach, filled it up with seawater, which we were taught by our Greek mom. We didn't come up with that ourselves. We were like, let's pour salt in water. She was like,
No.
And I got some dry curing here now to see how they do.
That's fun.
nice. Yes, so very abundant land. And also, it feels very abundant to have space.
Yeah.
Like I think for Western culture to have space, to have long conversations, to have long dinners, to have long visits, space to read your book for a while, space to have a really long coffee is abundance in my books for sure.
That is abundance. I did not set an alarm and would just go to the coffee shop every day, same coffee shop, and I was like, this is all I need.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Rebel.
Project.
I don't know if you felt this at all. For my productivity complex, I really struggled with the guilt of slowing down. Did you have moments where, I mean, I'm sure over time it wavers, but this feeling of, like,
I know what you mean.
you know, I felt probably a lineage thing, but guilty of being like, I'm just sitting and enjoying life like this. And I think, I don't know, I think maybe Western culture a little bit plays on that quite a bit, but here it's like, that's just that's just how you live, is to live like that. So there's no other way. Whereas for us, it's like almost such a contrast where I was kind of like feeling a little bit guilty, being so present and having all of this, even having this space. I don't know. Did you guys feel that at all?
I didn't, but I'm sure many people feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, and it still crosses my head once in a while when I'm like just lollygagging or doing something. It's like, I'm not technically retired right now. Like I should be probably. And even a couple times since we've been here, I've jumped on my calendar because back home, I lived by my calendar. So like I slotted everything in the day, whether I was just gonna go grocery shopping or was it, gym. Okay, walk dog. Okay, pick up this, do this. Everything was slotted into my day, and I've a couple times gone back to my calendar here and slotted my day, being like, okay, I gotta get my act together here. Like, stop lollygagging. And I filled my calendar up. And then for the next week, I'm getting all these beep, beep, beep while I'm having a coffee. I'm like, the calendar didn't work as well.
Yeah. I think if any, not the only thing, but the maybe biggest thing that's come up for me with slowing down has been the things that I was avoiding by going fast.
No. Yes.
That I didn't even know. I didn't know that I was hiding that, for me in particular, and I've shared this a couple times, it's been around unhealed body stuff. That's sort of been a reoccurring challenge for me in my life. And the slowing down really made me meet that. It was like, oh, hi, still here. And so I had the choice to, distract and push it aside and get busy or meet that. So I've been meeting that head on. And I guess now was the time that I was ready to move through it because I didn't feel safe to do so before.
All in divine timing, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is, but you've also worked really hard to have those tools to, create this space and be grounded in it. Because
Yes.
you guys don't, you have this like unwavering belief and trust that it's unfolding as it should, and not panicking. Even in the stressful times of your initial landing here, you didn't panic. I even panicked, and I'm just visiting. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? It was so uncomfortable.
I mean, you're solo traveling and you're in Athens. I think you should give yourself some grace.
But I couldn't lean on the things that I usually lent on, which was I can talk to strangers, and I would just meet people. And my experience in the past, it was always with expats, and no one wanted to talk to me in Athens. And I just panicked. And I'm at the end of tourist season, and everyone's on their honeymoon, and I'm just sitting by myself. And that's exactly what was meant to happen, to make me face just me and my book and eating by myself, because I just had that crutch, and it's almost like it purposely just exposed itself, so I had to sit in the discomfort. Obviously I had you guys here as well, but traveling with someone, you're with them 24/7. And I don't know what I expected, but I definitely thought I would make friends and just have some time to spend with people, and it didn't turn out that way, but it always happens on a purpose.
Yeah, it's like it was ready to be looked at too. Yeah, the lessons of travel, but also I feel like a lot of these things you're speaking to and we're speaking to are the lessons of the healing available on this island.
And I noticed there's many churches here.
Yes.
And also, just for me, I'd never been somewhere, and I spoke about this in the episode. I was like, I've never been anywhere like that, so ancient. And then I am here, and I got to go in Athens, obviously see the Acropolis and all these, be in these places where I'm like, it's just has such history, and you can feel it. And how do you feel like living here has affected you in that way, or just being in that energy? There is an energy to it. You're just kind of, I can't even put into words.
Totally.
I guess. Yeah.
Yes. You want to start?
Go ahead.
I would say, gosh, so many ways. For one, our home. I've always had a practice around protecting the energy of our home, our space, all that sort of thing. And I did find that I had to up my protection here. Still do. It's like I can't be on top of it. And I attribute that to how old the land is. There are more spirits kicking about. You know what I mean? So that, I've noticed that. And then in general, it's really had me contemplating themes over time in humans and in spirituality. When I see like an old temple, I'm reminded that at least 2,500 years ago, people were praying. People were worshiping different gods, different religions, different practices, but people were praying. They prayed here. And that's really taken, like, I like how you said, can't really put it into words, because it has taken me somewhere where it's like these ancient practices that we continue to do over time. There's a reason that we continue to do them over time. And the land has kind of reminded me of that. And how about you? Has the oldness of everything impacted you?
Hasn't really impacted me. I just like it's eye-opening to see when we go to like an old monastery or an old like that one I took you and Kim, to go look at it and to think about it, and like to be in the space where, I don't know, 100 years ago someone was walking around and getting water from the spot and living, and like doing something in this place that is now like kind of like fallen in and broken a little bit, was like something quite special. And like, I don't know, I think that that's cool. And then it's just like the history behind everything, all the people and friends, even the younger groups of people I meet, to the older people we know, always have a history built into them.
True.
They're like, oh, back, you know, and my great grandfather, they used to do this, and this was because of the way the Greeks used to do this, and they all know the history, and they're all very proud of their history back, way back, and we just don't really have that in Canada because we're very young. Like the building, the project we're working on, you know, our country is younger than the building we're going to be working on.
That's
Yeah.
it's hard to like understand, like
Mm-hmm.
to really understand that, like our concept of time.
Well, and I think what he's pointing to, and if you look at Greeks versus Canadians, that's what I know, is like there is a break for most of us Canadians. There's like a break in our connection to lineage, in our connection to our traditions, because at some point we crossed the waters and everything was no longer the way that it was. And so, you know, everyone that we meet has all these stories. They know where their grandparents lived, things like that. And we just have this like kind of, for me, speaking for me, it's like almost like a very blurry vision of what goes beyond even my grandparents. That's it, you know? So there's something to that. I don't know yet what that, how that translates into who they are, but I'm certain that it does.
And I think it's really special that you're working with a family who's been on this island for generations.
Many
almost, like
generations. Yeah. Yanis is from this island, I think back to his great grandparents. Something like 5th generation Naxian, him. So, which is kind of rare because a lot of people who live in Naxos are from Athens and they've moved to Naxos. So to be like a Naxian, there are like certain last names.
Yeah.
And Yanis will often ask.
Everyone's named Yanis as well.
Oh yeah, everyone's named Yanis.
It's all their surname. Everybody kind of goes by their surnames.
Oh.
So that's why, you know, you say Yanis, like what's his last name? Or our lawyer, he calls her by her last name. And so I noticed that a lot.
But their actual last names, Naxos has like a handful of them. And so Yanis will be like, oh, they're from the island. And he'll be like, what's their last name? We'll be like, oh, it's, and he's like, no, they're not from the island.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know everyone around here.
And they'll be like, oh, that last name is from, you know, Thessaloniki. Or they'll know, like their names are associated with a part of Greece. And that's,
it's very cool.
It's fascinating.
And it's really cool how like intertwined you are with the family and how you get to really see, you know, living on the island through their eyes, or like you're brought in, you guys are family with them. And it was the first day I got here, which I didn't plan. I didn't have a plan for the timing. But when I arrived, you're like, oh, it's perfect. We're having a Canadian Thanksgiving dinner, and you were hosting Yanis and his family.
Yeah.
And it was their first time having stuffing and just certain foods that we were like, yes, and they were very perplexed.
They served these potatoes in the hospital.
That was the
good.
comments. We eat these in the hospital.
The mashed potatoes, they're very good. But I don't know if they have. It's always like in the French fry form and equally delicious. But that was a funny comment.
That's amazing.
And
It was good.
And the stuffing, they're like, oh, so it's like bread. It's just bread. I'm like, yeah, but it's different. That was
bread that we cooked all day.
Yeah, with like some herbs.
But no, that was awesome having them all here.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, in general, we are so blessed to know this family and for them to treat us like family the way they do. I don't know what we've done to deserve them. Honestly, we are so lucky, and they're a wonder. You met them; they're just such wonderful people.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And I don't think our experience in Naxos would be what it has been without them. And you know, we haven't met a lot of expats. Somehow, most people we know are Greek or locals. But the few that we have, I come to realize how unique it is to be so close with so many locals. A lot of expats are just sort of friends with expats.
Yes.
And so I think that changes your experience entirely.
Yeah, and it's not like we generally genuinely we genuinely get along with the family and like
Yeah.
have a good time and enjoy their company. And when Angel was out in Athens with Kim, I went for dinner with Yanis and we just hung out like bros. Like
He's
like it was
they're
just
amazing. Like I just yeah, it's funny listening to the podcast episode and you're talking about like Effie and the family, and then I never thought I'd meet them, and they're just so like caring and genuine. But obviously, like the way your guys' paths met, and it was just kind of meant to happen, and you fit so well. Like you're the same age as the daughters, and
Yeah.
everyone's so kind, and they have invited me to events and get-togethers, and I've just felt like my even time here for 3 weeks, I've been able to experience things that I don't think a lot of people visiting like Greece get to. So I'm very lucky.
Yes.
But yes, they're very sincere and yeah, just have this like love for life and their family and connecting, and that's what I got from it was just the stories and just sharing. And at times when there is even like not issues with like it's just you're still able to communicate somehow even though
the language.
even though I don't understand really what's happening, but I feel like I do.
Mm-hmm.
And they still embrace you. And you are learning Greek.
And
you're doing so good. Every time we go, everyone's like, you have a great accent.
Thank you. It's really fun. I like to say that because every time I tell someone we're learning Greek, they're like, why? Like even locals are like, why? What? It's so hard. And I'm like, oh, okay. First of all, we're living in your country. It is to me the respectful thing to do to honor the people and the land. And secondly, I just kind of decided to approach learning Greek like I just decided to not bring the story of it's going to be hard. I've learned French. French was hard. I carried that story the whole time, and therefore it was hard.
Yes.
And now I'm like, you know what? I have space. I have more mind capacity than I did back in Canada. Let's just have fun and let's let it transcend. Like you're saying, you may not understand, but you understand and you're not really sure why. And I think that piece can go a long way.
Yeah. But I spent the whole day harvesting olives with a guy who spoke no English. And so we didn't, but we communicated all day, and we did have help from Google Translate. Yeah. But it was just like the little words I know and the little words he know, we were able to like work and point and and figure each other out, and I think that it's good. A funny story. I was walking down the beach and I met a couple of Canadians.
Good one. I don't think you know this.
Don't know this one.
Yeah, and they say to me, your English is pretty good. Then I was like, it's not great.
It's my only language.
You're like, oh. You're like, oh, okay.
So I realized
maybe
I'm learning Greek and English.
Yeah. It's funny. But I think the thing that I didn't expect was I've traveled to like Spanish speaking countries, Italian, and you can kind of make out the words. The Greek alphabet is like triangles. That was part of it. Like, I know it's not really a culture shock, but everyone speaks English and they're very kind, but I've never not been able to kind of make out the words. It's like hieroglyphics or
different alphabet. Yes.
So good for you. But I know once you pick up on it, it becomes easier. But that was something I didn't know much about, and I was shocked. I was like, don't know anything. It's just like triangles and E's, backwards E's, and I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll have that.
Yeah. And a P is actually an R, and a V is actually in an N. That's fun. Yeah, we're talking about all the great things about learning a language, but it is uncomfortable too. Like, it definitely stops me from doing things if I'm not, like, if my energy is not at its best. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to go pick up that package because then I got to struggle with language and they're going to look at me like this. So I'm just not going to, it definitely acts as a block and a barrier. And if we're feeling homesick, it will often be to just like be able to go places and be understood or know where you're going. Or...
Just go to Home Depot.
Yeah. That's what,
Get my
that's what I
tools.
really miss.
Yeah.
Home Depot. Speaking of Home Depot, do you want to share anything about the project on this update?
Well, we've got our go-ahead from archaeology to do phase 1.
Nice.
And we're just going through a little bit of legal understanding with our visas here. But I think that we're going to start the project on Monday or Tuesday next week.
So exciting.
And start doing the demolition and cleanup. And today I was driving around to hardwood stores and looking for wood and scaffold and materials, and I just think I'm kind of weird. They're like, oh, you should just pay someone to do this?
In your broken English.
Yeah, well, Yanis came with me.
Yeah.
So it was helpful to have him there. And when we found some wood shops, and wood's super expensive out here.
Oh yeah.
Concrete's cheaper. The cheapest wood is fir.
Oh, interesting.
Not spruce, and it's expensive. So it's like thinking about like trying to redesign how I do things, because at home it's like bring on the wood, build everything with spruce.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so went to hardwood stores today, got to know a few of them, so now they know who I am. Yanis is calling me Seños.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's Shane's Greek name, Seños.
Genius.
So excited to start the project and also start the YouTube channel.
Yeah, because you're gonna be documenting everything, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's gonna be exciting
So
to watch.
we'll film everything, kind of do lots of time lapse, and we'll talk as much as I can, and we'll also have some short videos of our life there, but it'll be
That's so
mostly around the
exciting.
project.
Yes, and we will put it in the show notes. Shane's been tinkering, so there's a little bit of content on there. Salt and Stone.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So it's launched.
It's launched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I put a couple videos up there.
Okay.
but we haven't
I'll be watching.
had a party launch yet or nothing.
Soft launch.
Soft launch.
Just soft launch.
Oh, that's fun. Well, I'm excited to watch
Yeah.
and visit eventually. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah. You basically are a local now.
I know, I might never leave.
Pretty much.
That's funny. I thought about that today. I was like, I wonder if Kelsey was just not gonna leave for like a 3-month
I've done that
visa.
before. Yeah, I have.
He's gonna be like, I think it was actually the family. They were asking you. They're like, so you'll stay all winter? And you're like, oh, no.
I think Rihanna said she has an extra room for me. You live in my spare room, she said. I thought about it.
Oh, bless
Just
them.
you wait.
Bless them.
Yeah, they're very sweet.
Oh
But
gosh.
I'm excited to watch, and I think a lot of people back home, it's very inspiring to see you guys follow through and be very certain and trusting of the path forward and trusting at how it's going to unfold and just being at peace with that. Yeah, it's been really inspiring, and also I'm really grateful to witness it in person. It has helped put things in perspective for me, and I just want to thank you guys.
Oh, and we're so happy to have had you here and have a friend to hang out with who speaks English and and to show around. And it's always nice to have things reflected back to you too, because you get in your own bubble, and so it's nice to have someone back home to reflect things. And
Yeah, it makes us feel like we're not so far from home, because I think Angel and I have had bouts of homesickness.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think one thing that I would tell anyone who's who has this big dream that they're moving towards is that, like, when you get there, you have to own that. I don't know how else to say that. It's like you can still take all of your shit with you. And you can sabotage, you can not be grateful for where you've gotten to or what you've created. And I think we're really conscious about that, conscious at being grateful for what this is and not trying to make it more or something else or whatever that is,
That's very special.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that wraps it up. Thanks for joining, and I hope you enjoyed a little update on our lives here in Greece. And check out the YouTube channel that Shayne is working away at, and hopefully we'll do another update. I don't know, 6 months down the road, Kelsey will probably be back to interview us, because there's just no other way to do it.
Or she'll still be here.
Or she'll never.
Stay tuned.
Stay
You'll see
tuned.
me on the YouTube channel, like hoisting up stones.
True. Okay, bye.
Bye.